Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. 3 shot, 2 fatally in Spanish Town gun attack. 2 men were shot dead and a woman injured just outside the Spanish Town examination depot on Joblin in St. Catherine on Wednesday morning. The deceased have been identified as 66-year-old Trevor Robinson, otherwise called Big Back, from Joblin, and 48-year-old Dylan Knighthead Grant, a construction worker from Irish Pen, both in Spanish Town. Information reaching reporter is that around 7 a.m., all 3 persons were at a stall near the depot when armed men exited a motor vehicle and opened fire at them. The police were summoned, and on their arrival, all 3 were taken to hospital where Robinson and Grant were pronounced dead. The female was admitted. The double murder follows that of a mother and son who were shot dead on the nearby St. John's Road Monday night. The Spanish Town police, who are investigating both double murders, have not established a motive for the latest incident. Barber gunned down in Sligoville. The St. Catherine North police are investigating the death of a 39-year-old barber, Marvin Bowley, who was killed along the Ward Hill Main Road in Sligoville in the parish. Bowley, who lives in James Mountain area, was reportedly standing with others along the roadway about 11:30 a.m. when a man armed with a handgun approached him and fired shots. Bowley ran but was chased by the gunman, who fired several more shots. Bowley was hit and fell. His attacker ran off and boarded a waiting car. No motive has been established for his death. 18-year-old woman accused of stabbing 16-year-old boyfriend in the neck. An 18-year-old woman is facing charges of wounding with intent after she allegedly stabbed her 16-year-old boyfriend during an argument in Liberty Valley, Brownstone, St. Anne on Tuesday. Charged is Shamoya Reed, a cashier of a Liberty Valley address. Reports from the St. Anne's Bay police are that about 10:30 p.m., Reed went to visit her boyfriend and an argument developed between them. It is alleged that she used a ratchet knife to stab the complainant in the neck. The injured teen was assisted to hospital where he was admitted. Hours later, Reed turned herself into the police where she was charged. Her court date is being finalized. Man in custody after store with $200 million in counterfeit goods searched. The police have now revealed that one person is now in custody after around $200 million worth of counterfeit goods were discovered in a store in downtown Kingston on Wednesday. Assistant Superintendent Victor Barrett of Intellectual Property Rights, CTOC, said the operation took place at 24 West Parade as part of the Jamaica Constabulary Force's ongoing efforts to rid the streets of counterfeit goods. On close inspection of this store, we discovered a large quantity of Crocs, Nike, Puma, Tommy Hilfiger in all shapes and sizes, and a rough estimate put this store to around $200 million worth of goods. Because there is a warehouse also inside this store that has a massive amount of counterfeit goods, Barrett stated. So most of these merchants, they have the storefront, and then they have the warehouse upstairs, he added, noting that the person in custody will be charged for breaches against the Trademark Act. As such, Barrett is issuing a warning to those who have the intention to sell counterfeit goods. We just want to warn them that who want to get involved in selling of counterfeit goods, that is a bad thing. It's not good for the country. It fuels organized crimes, and that is said that we have laws in place, and once we get a report, we will continue to act. So I will suggest that you take your money and invest into legitimate means, Barrett stated.
We are here today at 24 West Parade as part of our continued efforts to rid the street of counterfeit goods. Well, we got some information from the rights owner, the owner for the brand Nike and Puma, and then we did some workup, and it led us. And we find, as you can see, a large catch of counterfeit goods. So we have Nike, Crocs, Puma, Tommy Hilfiger, and the warehouse is upstairs. So we estimate it to be about 200 million Jamaican dollars worth of counterfeit goods. Yes. Right. 2 things based on our experience in doing this operation, and secondly, the dollar value, the real price for these goods. So we look at the Crocs behind me. A Crocs probably selling for 80 to 100 US dollars. A Nike shoe might be selling for 175 US dollars. The LV bag behind us, probably $700 US dollars. I'm talking about. So when you quantify that, then it brings to the value I'm talking about. So it's not a figure that I dreamt about. You understand me? It's based on estimates. And as I use the word, it's estimated to be about $200 million, Right. So it's not a CTOC issue, it's a Jamaican issue. So we have a legislation that speaks to breach of the Trademark Act. So if you use a brand without authorization, it's a breach of the trademark. And by our domestic legislation, we have an authority to act for our own country. It is good for us to rid the streets because you don't want Jamaica to be seen as a dumping ground for counterfeit goods. There are issues relating to money laundering, human trafficking, um, you know, organized crime. So we have a duty under the law to act, to protect our citizens, and most importantly, the public health concerns. So our dear fellow countrymen who buy these products, we don't know what kind of chemicals they put into making these shoes. Some of them might not be fit for human consumption. So we are protecting our citizens. And so one person is taken into custody, and he will be arrested and charged and put before the court for breach of the Trademark Act. Well, in its current dispensation, the law speaks to a fine of up to $1 million or 12 months imprisonment. So that's the law, But in my own rights, I think that based on the magnitude of the trade, I think as a deterrent, they could increase the penalty, you know. The notion is that it's a eat a food mentality, and people trying to survive. But as I always stated, somewhere in the world, some little boys or girls might be trafficked to produce these items. So elements of human trafficking or forced labor might be a component of producing these items. I mentioned that the public health concerns. You don't know the component, the dye. We're in a tropical country with the heat, right? So they might use dye in the shoes or the clothing, and you put it on sweat to go in your bloodstream, and then you have some ailment. So for public health concern, and also along the lines of taxes. So I would say to persons who want to engage in this type of activities, channel your energy elsewhere. You could also reach out to the brands and become a distributor and legitimize your operation.
Normal operations resume at UWI Open campuses. Normal operations have resumed at open campuses at the University of the West Indies after upset workers received their June salary. The staff stayed off the job on Monday and Tuesday, upset about the delay in payment as well as the lack of information from management. They are represented by the West Indies Group of University Teachers. President Professor Paul Brown noted that there is a concern about a possible repeat of the late payment for July's salary and expressed hope that this will not be the case.
As of yesterday, those staff who banked with the NCB, those have received their salaries in their accounts, and we anticipate that those who bank with other banks, including Scotiabank, would have their funds remitted by today. So that is good news for the staff, and so we have advised staff that they can return to the duties that were suspended. So pay is due on the 25th. So we will see what happens next week, Monday, next week, Tuesday, when that pay cycle comes around. No, there is no assurance, but as you can imagine, if it has taken more than 2-3 weeks to sort out payment for a previous month, I think, there is probably jeopardy that we might find ourselves in the same situation again. But I won't preempt anything. We'll hope for the best. And when next week comes, if there is nothing favorable, then we might be in the same position.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share,